Hello, good day everybody. This is Teacher Queenie, and today we will discuss lessons under approaches and methods in language teaching. But before anything else, I would like to say hi there. How is everyone doing? I hope we are all fine, safe and well in our present situation right now. Before anything else, you may wish to get paper and pen for note-taking for this day's session. Okay, let's begin reading our class objectives for today. First, identify different active learning strategies and use some active learning strategies in your teaching. Okay, once again, welcome to our topic for this morning. There are 15 active learning strategies that we will discuss. Let us begin. It is basic requirement for learning to remain within the four walls of the classroom. It is where students listen, think, read, speak, and write. However, including them in various active learning methodologies makes a significant difference in the learning process. It may seem easier to stick with what you know during these uncertain times. However, just because your classes have gone partially or entirely online doesn't mean you're stuck lecturing. Even switching from knowledge intake to interaction for 5 or 10 minutes can make a difference. Now, are you eager to try something new in the classroom but don't know where to begin? Or perhaps you've been running away for years and looking for new ideas to fit the current realities. Now, here are 15 active learning exercises to try with your students this semester, whether your lessons are in person, online, or somewhere in between. All right, let's begin. Our first interactive learning strategy is what we call the Think, Pair, Repair. In this twist on Think, Pair, Share, pose an open-ended question to your class and ask students to come up with their best answer. Next, pair learners up and get them to agree on a response. Get 2 pairs together. In the 4, some needs to do the same thing. Continue until half the group goes head-to-head with the other half. If your students are online, break out rooms in your conferencing software. Let you do the same thing virtually. Now I will going to show you on how to break out rooms in conference or in conferencing. So step 1, you need to log in to your Zoom account, and after logging in, look for this icon, the break room icon. And then as you enter that, you will going to see here breakout rooms number. So you need to either choose 2, 3 to 4 rooms as much as you can. Okay, and that is how you break rooms in conferencing. For more videos or for more information in this tutorial, you may see the link below and watch for more videos. Alright, and that is for the Think, Pair, Repair. Now our second interactive learning strategy is what we call the Improv Games. In the 3 Things in Common game, pairs figure out the most unexpected things they share. This can also be done online in breakout rooms. Or challenge your students to count to 20 as a group with one person saying each number, but no one is assigned a number. And if 2 people talk at the same time, everyone starts again at 1. If some students are in the room and some remote, you'll need classroom audio with full room coverage for this work. So I will show you some example of the improv games. Okay, let's continue. The first one is the 3 things in common in 3 minutes. So what is this all about? As you observe, there is a picture on the right side. And let me tell you what is this all about. Okay, for the 3 things in common in 3 minutes, ask everyone to get a partner, preferably someone they don't know well. Each pair has 3 minutes to discover 3 things they have in common. They can't be obvious things one could discover without having a conversation. Okay? So, example, in the given picture, the 2 students are saying, "We're both wearing sleeves." So that is one thing they have seen they have in common. Okay? And the conversation has to go deeper. After 3 minutes, call time and ask people to volunteer to share out something they learned. I've had colleagues who have worked together for years, discovering amazing connections, ranging from, "We both have an adopted 11-year-old daughter from Guatemala." So those were some examples of things that you can see you have in common. Okay. Another one is what we call "You're Awesome." So this is a quick warm-up that is not recommended for serious types in suits, of course. Everyone finds a partner and stands facing him or her. They then high-five each other with both hands and say, "You're awesome!" as enthusiastically as possible. They keep high-fiving each other and saying, again, "You're awesome," until you call time 10 to 20 seconds and ask people to find another partner and do the same thing. So just imagine how you are going to incorporate these 2 examples in your classes. The next one is what we call the brain writing. In this approach, students are given time to come up with their own ideas individually before sharing them out loud or posting them to an online whiteboard or of other shared platform building in space for individual reflection leads to better ideas and less group thinking. The next one is the jigsaw. I know this is quite familiar to everyone. So assign each person in the group a different topic to explore. They'll regroup to work with all the students from the other groups who are exploring the same idea. Once they've mastered the concept, students return their home group and everyone shares newfound expertise. This one is quite very interactive. The next interactive learning that we have is the concept mapping. Concept maps can be defined as graphical representation of knowledge that is comprised of different concepts and the relationships and interrelationship between them. So in pre-COVID times, you may have covered classroom walls with sticky notes and chart paper. Now there are many online tools that make it simple to map out connections between ideas. Okay, so here are some other tools you can use online. We have real-time board for education, text to mind map, Google Draw, Lucid Art, that is free for K-12 classrooms, mind maps, so on and so forth. So those are the tools you can use in concept mapping. Another one is the 1-minute paper. So a 1-minute paper may be defined as a very short in-class writing activity taking 1 minute or less to complete in response to an instructor-posted question, which prompts students to reflect on the day's lesson and provides the instructor with useful feedback. This strategy was originally developed by a physics professor at the University of California, Berkeley, then popularized by Cross and Angelo 1988 as one of a wide variety of quick classroom assessment techniques, or the CATs, designed to provide instructors with anonymous feedback on what students are learning in class. That's 1 minute paper. Another interactive learning strategy is the real-time reactions. When students are watching a video or you give them a mini lecture or another student's performance, have them share their real-time reactions. This helps students spot trends and consider new points of view. You can set up a hashtag to allow for live tweeting or use the chat function in your conferencing software. Real-time reactions is good for video viewing or watching a video during classes. Another interactive learning strategy is the chain notes. Chain notes involves writing a question on a large envelope and then passing it to students to write their response on a piece of paper and place inside. When the envelope reaches a student, they take a moment to reflect and respond, write their feedback, place their paper inside the envelope, and pass it on. The idea is that students read previous comments and ideas and then add to them, building a chain of responses. Obviously, it wouldn't be a good idea to always start with the same students, as they wouldn't get to see a chain of responses. So always start with different students each time. Chain notes gives every student an opportunity to look of others' ideas and compare them in their own thinking. They can naturally prompt an extraction of different ideas, and they are particularly good for checking for understanding. Another interactive learning strategy is what we call idea lineup. The idea lineup is a structure that allows a teacher to use the diversity of perspectives in the classroom to generate heterogeneous groups of students for discussion. The diversity of thinking is a good place from which to develop a classroom climate that supports argumentation. Example: choose a question that has a range of responses and then ask students where they stand. Literally, if they're not in a social distancing, have them come to the front of the classroom and organize themselves in a line based on where on the spectrum of answers they find themselves. In a blended classroom or a physical distance one, get them to place themselves in a virtual number line instead. That's for idea lineup. The next interactive learning strategy is what we call the mystery quotation. Test how well students can apply their understanding of an issue or theoretical position. After they've explored a topic, show them a quotation about it they've never seen before. Their task is to figure out the point of view of the person behind the quotation and justify it to the class. Then students can debate this issue in small breakout groups before beginning a class discussion. And this activity would really stimulate interaction and mind thinking. Okay, let's move on. Another interactive strategy is what we call the idea speed dating. Idea speed dating is a great way for a group to quickly come up with many ideas and to have people build off of others' ideas. It accomplishes three key things. It generates many different ideas, it helps build on and select directions for the best ideas, and helps building a connection between participants. At the start of a speed dating session, students are given a topic or question to discuss. So each student sits facing another student. The physical setup of the session may vary depending on the characteristics of the classroom, but long boardroom style tables with chairs on each side or portable chairs arranged in an inner or outer circle generally work well for this idea speed dating. Students typically remain in their partner groups for about 3 to 5 minutes before the instructor, who must of course keep time, notifies them to move on to their next partner once students rotate to their new partners. The timer is reset and students again discuss their topic or question, this time with a new discussion partner. The session proceeds in this manner, with each student thus getting the opportunity to interact with multiple other students in a series of brief one-on-one discussions. The theoretical underpinning of this method can be traced to Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, whereby each student can do more with the help of someone else than he can do on his own, and Freire's concept of dialogic learning as the structured format of the session emphasizes the exchange of valid information and de-emphasizes power differentials between students. And that is for idea speed dating. Another interactive learning strategy is the peer review. This one is quite familiar to everyone, and this is also known as a peer evaluation or peer assessment, which is defined as a teaching strategy that involves active participation of students in the formative evaluation of another student's work. Have students swap drafts of their essays, proposals, or lab reports, and then come up with comments and questions for each other. Make sure to be clear about what the goals are, and rubrics is the very helpful one for them to have a meaningful evaluation. And for example, students could identify compelling arguments, unanswered questions, and holes in logic. Our 13th interactive learning strategy is the quiz question. What is this? So it's like a standard class discussion, but only questions are allowed. Students call statement if someone slips up. If you play this game at the beginning of the course, the questions can always shape your course. If you have students both in the room and calling in from a distance, make sure the remote learners get equal airtime and that your audio system is picking up students' voices clearly. That's for quiz question. Second to the last interactive learning strategy is the sketch noting. Instead of taking traditional lecture notes, try getting your students to sketch a picture that represents what they've learned during class. Remember, it's not about the quality of the art, it's about how drawing prompts students to visualize their understanding and look at their learning from a different perspective. Sketchnoting was a classroom innovation that offered students with an interesting visual learning practice that helped them connect effectively with text. So as shown in the image in the right side, students are expressing their understanding. Okay, the last interactive learning strategy is the empathy mapping. What is this all about? Let's take a page from the designer's handbook and get students to explore deeper by embracing a perspective. It's deceptively simple. Write down what a person says, thinks, does, and feels. The ability to slow down and immerse yourself in another point of view is valuable. In design thinking, empathy maps help designers create better products for users. But this process can be just as valuable for analyzing characters from literature, historical figures, or political stances. So empathy mapping is good when it comes to literature or historical classes or lessons. All right, so those are our 15 interactive learning strategies. So let's enumerate all those. We have the think, pair, repair, improv games, brain writing, jigsaw, concept mapping, the 1-minute paper, real-time reactions, the chain notes. We have also the idea lineup, mystery quotation, idea speed dating, the peer review, the discussion, sketchnoting, and the empathy mapping. Now, it is your turn to pick what interactive learning strategy suits your classes very well. And while considering all these interactive learning strategies, we need also to consider, first, availability of gadgets and internet connection if we are in the new normal mode or online setting of education. And the second one, consider the learner's pace of learning. And the last one, the learner's suitability for these different activities. Those were considerations that we should always remember. That's it for today. Thank you for listening and have a good time.